Welcome to the National Institute of Academics. Barron'S Gre words list 15. Dishearten, duplicity. Word, dishearten. Meaning, discourage, cause to lose courage or hope. Sentence, his failure to pass the bar exam disheartened him. Word, disheveled. Meaning, untidy. Sentence, your disheveled appearance will hurt your chances in this interview. Word, disinclination. Meaning, unwillingness. Sentence, some mornings I feel a great disinclination to get out of bed. Word, disinter. Meaning, dig up, unearth. Sentence, they disinterred the body and held an autopsy. Word, disinterested. Meaning, unprejudiced. Sentence, given the judge's political ambitions and the lawyer's financial interest in the case, the only disinterested person in the courtroom may have been the court reporter. Word, disjointed. Meaning, disconnected. Sentence, his remarks were so disjointed that we could not follow his reasoning. Word, dislodge. Meaning, remove, forcibly. Sentence, thrusting her fist up under the choking man's lower ribs, Margaret used the Heimlich maneuver to dislodge the food caught in his throat. Word, dismantle. Meaning, take apart. Sentence, when the show closed, they dismantled the scenery before storing it. Word, dismay. Meaning, discourage, frighten. Sentence, the huge amount of work she had left to do dismayed her. Word, dismember. Meaning, cut into small parts. Sentence, when the Austrian Empire was dismembered, several new countries were established. Word, dismiss. Meaning, put away from consideration, reject. Sentence, believing in John's love for her, she dismissed the notion that he might be unfaithful. Word, disparage. Meaning, belittle. Sentence, a doting mother, Emma is more likely to praise her son's crude attempts at art than to disparage them. Word, disparate. Meaning, basically different, unrelated. Sentence, unfortunately, Tony and Tina have disparate notions of marriage. Tony sees it as a carefree extended love affair, while Tina sees it as a solemn commitment to build a family and a home. Word, disparity. Meaning, difference, condition of inequality. Sentence, their disparity in rank made no difference at all to the prince and Cinderella. Word, dispassionate. Meaning, calm, impartial. Sentence, as a judge, she remained dispassionate throughout the trial, carefully weighing the evidence presented before reaching a verdict. Word, dispatch. Meaning, speediness, prompt execution. Sentence, young Napoleon defeated the enemy with all possible dispatch. He then sent a dispatch to headquarters informing his commander of the great victory. Word, dispel. Meaning, scatter, drive away, cause to vanish. Sentence, the bright sunlight eventually dispelled the morning mist. Word, disperse. Meaning, scatter. Sentence, the police fired tear gas into the crowd to disperse the protesters. Word, dispirited. Meaning, lacking in spirit. Sentence, the coach used all the tricks at his command to buoy up the enthusiasm of his team, which had become dispirited at the loss of the star player. Word, disputatious. Meaning, argumentative, fond of arguing. Sentence, convinced he knew more than his lawyers, Alan was a disputatious client, ready to argue about the best way to conduct the case. Word, disquiet. Meaning, make uneasy or anxious. Sentence, the sound of footsteps echoing through the empty hallway filled me with a sense of disquiet. Word, dissection. Meaning, analysis, cutting apart in order to examine. Sentence, the dissection of frogs in the laboratory is particularly unpleasant to some students. Word, dissemble. Meaning, disguise, pretend. Sentence, even though John tried to dissemble his motive for taking modern dance, we all knew he was there not to dance but to meet girls. Word, disseminate. Meaning, distribute, spread, scatter, like seeds. Sentence, by their use of the internet, propagandists have been able to disseminate their pet doctrines to new audiences around the globe. Word, dissent. Meaning, disagree. Sentence, in the recent Supreme Court decision, Justice O'Connor dissented from the majority opinion. Word, dissertation. Meaning, formal essay. Sentence, in order to earn a graduate degree from many of our universities, a candidate is frequently required to prepare a dissertation on some scholarly subject. Word, dissident. Meaning, dissenting, rebellious. Sentence, in the purge that followed the student demonstrations at Tiananmen Square, the government hunted down the dissident students and their supporters also. Dissipate. Meaning, squander, waste, scatter. Sentence, he is a fine artist, but I fear he may dissipate his gifts if he keeps wasting his time playing games. Word, dissolute. Meaning, loose in morals. Sentence, the dissolute life led by the ancient Romans is indeed shocking. Word, dissolution. Meaning, breaking of a union, decay, termination. Sentence, which caused King Lear more suffering, the dissolution of his kingdom into warring factions, or the dissolution of his aged, failing body? Word, dissonance. Meaning, discord. Sentence, composer Charles Ives often used dissonance, clashing or unresolved chords for special effects in his musical works. Word, dissuade. Meaning, persuade not to do, discourage. Sentence, since Tom could not dissuade Huck from running away from home, he decided to run away with him. Word, distant. Meaning, reserved or aloof, cold in manner. Sentence, his distant greeting made me feel unwelcome from the start. Word, distend. Meaning, expand, swell out. Sentence, I can tell when he is under stress by the way the veins distend on his forehead. Word, distill. Meaning, extract the essence, purify, refine. Sentence, a moonshiner distills mash into whiskey, an epigrammatist distills thoughts into quips. Word, distinction. Meaning, honor, contrast, discrimination. Sentence, a holder of the Medal of Honor, George served with great distinction in World War II. Word, distort. Meaning, twist out of shape. Sentence, it is difficult to believe the newspaper accounts of the riots because of the way some reporters distort and exaggerate the actual events. Word, distraught. Meaning, upset, distracted by anxiety. Sentence, the distraught parents frantically search the ravine for their lost child. Word, diurnal. Meaning, daily. Sentence, a farmer cannot neglect his diurnal tasks at any time. Cows, for example, must be milked regularly. Words, diva. Meaning, operatic singer, prima donna. Sentence, although world famous as a diva, she did not indulge in fits of temperament. Word, diverge. Meaning, vary, go in different directions from the same point. Sentence, the spokes of the wheel diverge from the hub. Word, divergent. Meaning, differing, deviating. Sentence. The team had a difficult time coming to a consensus as their opinions were widely divergent on the best course of action to take. Word, diverse. Meaning, differing in some characteristics, various. Sentence. The professor suggested diverse ways of approaching the assignment and recommended that we choose one of them. Word, diversion. Meaning, act of turning aside, pastime. Sentence. After studying for several hours, he needed a diversion from work. Word, diversity. Meaning, variety, dissimilitude. Sentence. The diversity of colleges in this country indicates that many levels of ability are being cared for. Word, divest. Meaning, strip, deprive. Sentence. He was divested of his power to act and could no longer govern. Word, divine. Meaning, perceive intuitively, foresee the future. Sentence. Nothing infuriated Tom more than Aunt Polly's ability to divine when he was telling the truth. Word, divulge. Meaning, reveal. Sentence. No lover of gossip, Charlotte would never divulge anything that a friend told her in confidence. Word, docile. Meaning, obedient, easily managed. Sentence. As docile as he seems today, that old lion was once a ferocious, snarling beast. Word, doctrinaire. Meaning, unable to compromise about points of doctrine, dogmatic. Sentence. Wang had hoped that the student-led democracy movement might bring about change in China, but the repressive response of the doctrinaire hardliners crushed his dreams of democracy. Word, doctrine. Meaning, teachings, in general, particular principle. Sentence. He was so committed to the doctrines of his faith that he was unable to evaluate them impartially. Word, document. Meaning, provide written evidence. Sentence. She kept all the receipts from her business trip in order to document her expenses for the firm. Word, doff. Meaning, take off. Sentence. A gentleman used to doff his hat to a lady. Word, dogged. Meaning, determined, stubborn. Sentence. Les Miserables tells of Inspector Javert's long, dogged pursuit of the criminal Jean Valjean. Word, doggerel. Meaning, poor verse. Sentence. Although we find occasional snatches of genuine poetry in her work, most of her writing is mere doggerel. Word, dogmatic. Meaning, opinionated, arbitrary, doctrinal. Sentence. We tried to discourage Doug from being so dogmatic, but never could convince him that his opinions might be wrong. Domicile. Meaning, home. Sentence. Although his legal domicile was in New York City, his work kept him away from his residence for many years. Word, domineer. Meaning, rule over tyrannically. Sentence. Students prefer teachers who guide, not ones who domineer. Word, don. Meaning, put on. Sentence. When Clark Kent has to don his Superman outfit, he changes clothes in a convenient phone booth. Word, doodle. Meaning, scribble or draw aimlessly, waste time. Sentence. Arts teachers scolded him when he doodled all over the margins of his papers. Word, dormant. Meaning, sleeping, lethargic, latent. Sentence. At 50 her long dormant ambition to write flared up once more, Within a year she had completed the first of her great historical novels. Word, dormer. Meaning, window projecting from roof. Sentence, in remodeling the attic into a bedroom, we decided that we needed to put in dormers to provide sufficient ventilation for the new room. Word, dossier. Meaning, file of documents on a subject. Sentence, ordered by J. Edgar Hoover to investigate the senator, the FBI compiled a complete dossier on him. Word, dote. Meaning, be excessively fond of, shows signs of mental decline. Sentence, not only grandmothers bore you with stories about their brilliant grandchildren, grandfathers dote on the little rascals, too. Word, douse. Meaning, plunge into water, drench, extinguish. Sentence, they doused each other with hoses and water balloons. Word, dowdy. Meaning, slovenly, untidy. Sentence, she tried to change her dowdy image by buying a new fashionable wardrobe. Word, downcast. Meaning, disheartened, sad. Sentence, cheerful and optimistic by nature, Beth was never downcast despite the difficulties she faced. Word, drab. Meaning, dull, lacking color, cheerless. Sentence, the Dutch woman's drab winter coat contrasted with the distinctive, colorful native costume she wore beneath it. Word, draconian. Meaning, extremely severe. Sentence, the government's new policy on social media use is considered draconian by many citizens who value freedom of expression. Word, dregs. Meaning, sediment, worthless residue. Sentence, David poured the wine carefully to avoid stirring up the dregs. Word, drivel. Meaning, nonsense, foolishness. Sentence, why do I have to spend my days listening to such idiotic drivel? Word, droll. Meaning, queer and amusing. Sentence, he was a popular guest because his droll anecdotes were always entertaining. Word, drone. Meaning, idle person, male B. Sentence, content to let his wife support him, the would-be writer was in reality nothing but a drone. Word, drone. Meaning, talk dully, buzz or murmur like a bee. Sentence, on a gorgeous day, who wants to be stuck in a classroom listening to the teacher drone? Word, dross. Meaning, waste matter, worthless impurities. Sentence, many methods have been devised to separate the valuable metal from the dross. Word, drudgery. Meaning, menial work. Sentence, Cinderella's fairy godmother rescued her from a life of drudgery. Word, dubious. Meaning, questionable, filled with doubt. Sentence, many critics of satire contend the test is of dubious worth. Word, ductile. Meaning, malleable, flexible, pliable. Sentence, copper is an extremely ductile material, you can stretch it into the thinnest of wires, bend it, even wind it into loops. Word, dulcet. Meaning, sweet sounding. Sentence, the dulcet sounds of the birds at dawn were soon drowned out by the roar of traffic passing our motel. Word, dumbfound. Meaning, astonish. Sentence, Egbert's perfect 1,600 on his SATI exam dumbfounded his classmates, who had always found him to be perfectly dumb. Word, dupe. Meaning, someone easily fooled. Sentence, while the gullible Watson often was made a dupe by unscrupulous parties, Sherlock Holmes was far more difficult to fool. Word, duplicity. Meaning, double-dealing, hypocrisy. Sentence, when Tanya learned that Mark had been two-timing her, she was furious at his duplicity.